Welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking an incredibly valuable roadmap that was designed specifically for internationally educated civil engineers. If you're an immigrant engineer aiming to kickstart or continue your professional journey in North America, this guide was built entirely for you. We're going to take what feels like a really complex, overwhelming process and break the whole thing down step by step so you know exactly what to do.
So, here's the massive question we have to tackle right out of the gate. How do you actually prove your engineering skills when you move to an entirely new country? Let's be honest, it is incredibly frustrating. You've spent years acquiring this vast knowledge and gaining hands-on experience back home, but the second you enter a new job market, it can feel like your credentials just aren't immediately understood. The reality is, employers in North America need a standardized, objective benchmark to really gauge your expertise.
Okay, let's dive into how we solved that. Today, we're going to cover the Immigrant Engineers Challenge, explore what NCES and the FE exam are all about, break down the 14 core subjects you'll face, highlight the absolute best YouTube study channels, and wrap up with the ultimate study strategy.
First up, Part 1, the Immigrant Engineers Challenge. Look, your global experience is absolutely invaluable. You've probably managed major projects and built up a really powerful technical foundation, but here's the catch. North American employers need objective proof of that competency. They usually just aren't familiar with the specific universities or the local engineering standards of your home country. Because of that gap, you need a bridge. You need a recognized, accepted standard that perfectly translates all your technical skills into the language of the North American job market.
Which brings us to Part 2, NCEES and the FE exam. You're going to hear this acronym a lot. NCEES stands for the National Council of Examiners for Engineering and Surveying. They are the official organization that administers the FE exam, or Fundamentals of Engineering exam, in the United States. Think of this institution as the ultimate gatekeeper for entering the professional engineering world in North America. Passing their exam is literally the most widely recognized standard for proving your foundational engineering knowledge. It is a total game changer for the credibility of your resume.
Now, the whole pathway to becoming an engineer in training, or EIT, follows a pretty clear sequence. First, you get an academic evaluation of your past credentials. Then you pass the FE exam. After that, you officially register as an EIT, start gaining local work experience, and finally, you conquer the ultimate milestone, the PE exam. So as you can see, the FE exam is the crucial cornerstone here. It's your very first major step in this entire licensing process.
So what exactly are we dealing with? The FE exam is 110 multiple-choice questions, and you have about 6 hours to get through them. That sounds like a lot, but remember, this tests your grasp of foundational engineering principles. It is not about highly advanced niche specializations. And here is the biggest secret to the whole thing. You do not need to memorize 1,000 different formulas. Your absolute best friend is the electronic NCES reference handbook. Your success on test day almost entirely depends on how quickly and efficiently you can navigate that specific handbook to find what you need.
Now, what's really interesting is how this is structured. Let's look at Part 3, the 14 core subjects. NCES clearly outlines exactly 14 subjects you need to know for civil engineering. If you just stare at the raw list, math, statics, dynamics, mechanics of materials, geotech, structural engineering, it feels completely overwhelming. But if we group them logically, it's way more manageable. You have your foundational courses like math and ethics, your design and materials group, which includes structural and geotech, and your infrastructure topics like fluids and transportation. Breaking it down like this makes the curriculum feel like a structured puzzle rather than a giant mountain of information.
And here's a massive tip. Not all subjects carry the same weight. You want to focus your time on areas with the best return on investment. Topics like geotechnical, water resources, and transportation are huge. For instance, just mastering water resources alone can add between 8 to 13 correct answers to your final score. You have limited study time, right? So invest it heavily into these high-yield core areas that will make the absolute biggest impact on exam day.
All right, moving on to Part 4, Best YouTube Study Channels.
You will definitely want to write these down. These YouTube creators are the true unsung heroes of FE prep, and they're completely free. If you need help with foundational topics like statics, Jeff Hansen's tutorials are just unmatched. For structural design, you've got to watch Gregory Michelson. DirectHub is absolutely fantastic for comprehensive coverage of fluids, geotech, and construction. And when you're getting close to exam day and need a final review with practice problems, Mark Mattson sessions are hands down your best bet.
Let's move to how this all builds together in Part 5, the ultimate study strategy.
As engineers, we love efficiency, right? So you need to embrace what we call the skip it strategy. Let me be clear, you do not need to know everything to pass this exam. Focus your precious energy on core topics, things like basic kinematics or analyzing determinate beams. If you hit insanely complex graduate-level material, like advanced Navier-Stokes equations, safely skip it. Seriously. Remember, the FE exam is strictly testing those foundational engineering principles, not your ability to solve a PhD-level thesis problem. When it comes to your schedule, consistency over time is way more powerful than last-minute cramming. A great flexible plan looks like this. Start with about 10 hours a week for the first month to ease into it. Then bump it to 15 hours a week in month 2, and finally, 20 hours a week for the final stretch. This prevents burnout. And remember, during every single one of those study hours, you should be using that NCES reference handbook to solve practice problems so it becomes second nature.
Ultimately, it's vital to shift how you view this whole process. The FE exam isn't your final destination. It's just the very first solid milestone toward a thriving, lucrative engineering career here in North America. By tapping into those incredible YouTube channels, mastering the NCES handbook, and sticking to an efficient study strategy, you're going to conquer this exam and prove exactly what you're capable of in a brand new system. So your path starts right now. Are you ready to take that first step?